So I know that these vulnerable moments are gonna have to come back up in order for me to, get better as a person. It's very difficult. Just know that it's necessary though. All this is necessary in order for you to truly love yourself and truly embrace who you are, and embrace your flaws, embrace your triumphs and trials, all of it. It's all necessary. Trust me, you can't take shortcuts here. You just can't. And that's what I'm realizing. You cannot cut corners when you really want to embrace who you are and love yourself and embrace yourself in everything, good or bad. You can't cut corners. You got to go through it. It has to go straight through. Because at the end of the day, it is necessary to grow as an individual and truly love yourself, which I've stated before. See, I'm repeating it because that's how important it is, Hello everybody, welcome to the Brain of Thought podcast. This is your host. They call me MJ, because that's what they call me. We're back with part 2 of What Do I Like About Me? Self-love reflection. I think that's the subtitle. I don't remember what I wrote. But anyway, that's another story. First part was kind of basis off of, see if I can remember. It was like based off of like what self-love meant to me, and accountability and all these other things that are necessary to go through, or vulnerability too. All these elements are necessary to kind of truly love yourself and grow as a person. Kind of touched on that a little bit so basically this episode I kind of want to piggyback off of that a little bit and focus on actually what I actually like and don't like about me. So this is kind of like a little bit more personal. So I try to come up with a list of the things that I'm good at and I like about myself, as opposed to the things I don't like about myself and the things I need to work on. And so I kind of compiled this list, so I'm going to share it with you guys, and we'll just see where it goes. Alright, here we go. So what exactly do I like about me? I had to ask myself that question. And I honestly discovered that it's way easier to find out what I don't like about me than what I do like about me. But we'll get into that in a second. Alright, so number 1, I think I'm pretty clever. I'm pretty quick on my feet. Think of like, it's not necessarily sarcasm, but like I feel like I can like cleverly craft words together. If you give me enough time, I'm pretty quick on my feet. So it'll take me that much time to think of something. I like that about myself. Also, the fact that I can think about things in a different light. Like, this podcast is kind of turning narratives on its head and doing critical thinking. So I kind of base this whole entire podcast based off of my ability to think of things in a different light, kind of challenging narratives and all that. 3, I unintentionally do this a lot, but I notice it about myself. I can bring people together. Like, say, for example, one person doesn't like the other, but they're more willing to tolerate each other if I'm in the middle, or I'm in the room, or I'm in the vicinity, because they both share the common love of me. That sounds very narcissistic. That sounds so narcissistic. But no, it's true though. Like, I noticed it. Like, I can notice that two people really don't like each other, whatever scenario it is, or regardless of where I'm at. But they're more willing to tolerate each other's presence is if I'm inside the room or somewhere in the middle of it. So I kind of like the fact that I can do that. Although most of the time I'm not trying to do that. It just happens to be that way. I'm so likable. So I'm just kidding. Alright. Next thing I like about me is I welcome different perspectives. Like, even if I don't agree with your perspective, like if you say something on the lines of something I don't agree with, you just make one statement and I'm like, most people do like, well, I don't agree with that. Me, I would like to know why you think that. Like, it's easy to sit here and say, well, I don't like root beer or whatever. I would ask you, what don't you like about root beer? Is it because of soda? Like, I would ask questions to get a further understanding of what exactly do you not like about such and such subject, whatever you're talking about. So I kind of welcome different perspectives. And even if I still don't agree after your reasoning, I can still respect it because I might have learned something off of that. You know what I'm saying? So I welcome different perspectives. I'm not closed-minded. And that's what I like about me. This is actually a good and a bad thing. I'm considerate. Sometimes a little too much considerate. But sometimes I forget about my own well-being while trying to be way too considerate. Like, I'll lose myself in my consideration from other people, if that makes any sense. And sometimes I need to, like, take a look at that and scale it back. It's like, okay, you're being a little too considerate. Come back a little bit. You got to take care of you too. You can't be worried about everybody else. Trying to let everybody, like for example, let's just say I got to go to the bathroom and I really have to go to the bathroom, but I know that 3 people have to go to the bathroom too. I'll let those 3 people in front of me. Because how considerate I am on the chance that I might pee myself. But I feel like those 3 people going before me are worth peeing on myself over. Something like that. Now, reality is I would never do that. I'm just trying to give you an example of what it looks like in my head. Okay. I'm decent at most games that I play. Not that I'm the best. I can, like, if you tell me a new game that I don't know. Like, for example, I gotta let you guys in on a little secret. I always wanted to learn how to play spades. Always. I played spades twice in my life. The first time it went really well. The second time, we're not going to talk about that. The second time, there were certain, let's just say, beverages involved. We're just going to leave it at that. So maybe that's why I kind of messed it up. But anyway, I don't do that anymore. Alright, okay, so, moving on. But yeah, I'm decent at most games, whether it's board games, card games, video games, whatever. If you tell me what the buttons are, you tell me what the rules are, I can pick it up pretty quick. I like playing games. Games are fun. Games are like the ultimate icebreaker in any scenario. You may not know anybody that you're playing Uno with, but I feel like you can make a lifelong lasting memory playing that game with a complete stranger. Trust me. Try it out. Walk up to a stranger and go, hey, you guys want to play Uno real quick? And I guarantee you guys will make 1 or 2 memories that'll last you a while. Just try it out. Try it out. Trust me on this. Alright. I can create music. By create music, I mean, like, I think I'm a pretty decent songwriter, and I'm a pretty decent, like, I can, like, hear notes. For those of you who don't know me listening to this, I sing in a choir. I sometimes play the keyboard, not as much as I should be, unless I want to get better, really, but I kind of I'm musically inclined, basically, is what I'm saying. Once again, I'm not bragging about being the best or nothing like that. It's just that music to me is pretty natural. Like, if you want to teach me a song, I pick it up pretty quick. So I kind of like the fact that I can do that. So those are the good qualities I like about me. All right, so these are okay. So the bad qualities, I wrote a lot more on the bad side. Self-esteem problem much? All right. Anyway, things I need to work on. Number 1, self-discipline. As I said in the first part of this episode, part 1 of the episode, holding myself accountable and not letting my pride and ego get in the way of that. Once again, I'm still very considerate, but I'm also very stubborn sometimes. Like, if I strongly believe something, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's difficult to convince me otherwise, but I'm stubborn like that. Like, sometimes I'll know I'm wrong, and I'll still be like, no. Even though I know for a fact that I'm wrong, but on principle, I just want to prove a point, like, no, I'm not agreeing with you, because I don't like the way you said that. Just because of that. But I've gotten better at that, though. But I need to work on that. Second thing, prioritizing moving forward ahead of being right in a disagreement, in an argument. basically, the goal in my arguments I need to work on is to move forward and to grow whoever I'm arguing with, not just wanting to be right in an argument, like, or a disagreement. Like, if we're having a discussion or a debate about whatever, instead of me trying to be right, I need to try to help see, okay, is this going to be productive conversation, or is this just about me being right? There's a big difference, and no matter what you're arguing about, or you're disagreeing about. Like, am I going to respect this person's opinion, or do I not want to respect this person's opinion? Because I think they're wrong. I just don't care. This is how I feel. You just got to deal with it. Like, I'm trying to work on being more susceptible to people's perspective. Once again, I'm good at that, but I'm also bad at that at the same time, depending on how I feel about it, like how strongly I feel about the take. Next thing, researching a topic before talking about it. Now, this is very crucial for me, especially for this podcast, for me to grow this podcast, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like, I need to research a topic before I try to talk about it. I don't want to come off not necessarily dumb, but at least like some sort of sense of what I'm talking about. I don't want to just talk about something I didn't see a video or snippet on something and then just go off on a tangent based off a 30-second clip. Like, I kind of want to research, like, okay, how did we get to this point? Okay, what did this person do wrong, or what does everybody think they did wrong, or what are they talking about, or did they use this word right? Like I want a lot of, like, I want to research it from not just one angle. I think I've said this in an episode, a couple episodes back, about this Negotiator. If I didn't, then I guess this is the first time. There's a scene in The Negotiator where Kevin Spacey's character meets Samuel L. Jackson's character, Chris Sabian, Danny Roman. So they're not arguing, but disagreeing about something they saw on TV about a Western called Shane or something like that. And so he's basically like, well, I hate to break it to you, Danny, but Shane died. And then he's like, that's an assumption. He slumped over on his horse. And he goes, no, it's a common mistake, because he slumped on his horse and he doesn't look back because he can't look back. Shane's dead. And so Danny goes, well, that's an assumption. Slump does not necessarily mean dead. That's just an assumption. And he goes, well, he's like, well, I think you believe that Butch and Sundance lived, but they were completely surrounded before the movie went off, right? And then he was like, oh, so he was like, oh, you're just kind of history buff. And he goes, yeah, I read histories and autobiographies. And then he goes, well, don't believe everything you read in books. And so he's like, well, I don't say I just read one book. I try to read all the books on the subject and then decide for myself what really happened. That's the approach I want to take when I'm talking about something. That right there. Instead of trying to look at it from one perspective, I want to look at the other side of the perspective and decide for myself what's right and what's wrong, instead of just looking at it one way. And I think that's crucial for this podcast to grow, especially if I'm going to have like guests or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll call Will Smith up, see what he's doing. It's like, hey, man, are you busy or entangled? No. You knew it was coming when I said Will Smith. Don't judge me, man. Alright. Oh man, I really hope Will Smith doesn't listen to this podcast. Or he will never talk to me. Let's not get off topic here. Alright. But yeah, basically that's how I want to approach things. 4, remembering to stay hydrated and taking care of myself physically / eating right / exercising, etc. Speaking of which, hold on. Good thing I read that, because I kind of forgot to take a sip of a drink. Anyway, but sometimes I forget. Like, honestly, sometimes I'm just like going about my day. See, normally I work 2 jobs. So when I'm constantly just going and forgetting about drinking water or eating something, because I'm in the zone. I want to get things done. It's just my motor, because I kind of only got like 1 speed. I can't really slow down the speed. It's just I got 1 gear, so I'm on go. And the only time I'll stop to drink water is if I'm taking a break or something. Sometimes I would go, not anymore, but this was the old me, like sometimes I would go hours without taking a sip of water and not realizing it though, because I'm so working so hard that I forget to take care of myself. So I need to be conscious of, all right, stop, take a sip of water, drink something, go pee, breathe. It's gonna be all right. There's other people around that can do this. They can do this for you until you come back. I'm sure they'll understand. Just be considerate of your own self for once. Like I gotta give myself that pep talk, and I have actually lately. So I'm pat on my back for that. Yeah, but sometimes I forget because I'm working so hard and I just forget, like lose track of time or whatever it is. 5, turning down and turning off things that are detrimental to my individual growth. The definition of detrimental I found is causing detriment as loss or injury, damaging, or harmful. So basically, if I'm watching something and I'm getting so irate and upset about it, but at the same time this really serves no purpose in my life, just mute it or turn it off. And I've been doing that lately. Like I'll be on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and I'll see something that somebody will write, and in my eyes it's so unproductive and idiotic that like I'll just mute it. Before I would try to like think like, why would you do that, and just try to like harp on it, like how can people be so dumb, and I get so upset about that. Nowadays I just turn it off. I don't even bother with it. I just look at it like, this ain't even worth fighting over. Turn it off, mute it, delete it, block it, bye. I'm not even entertaining this notion. So I've gotten better at that. But yeah, normally when I saw stuff like that or whatever it was, it didn't matter what it was, if it's something that I really found like idiotic and irresponsible, it would just ruin my mood. I would be like, why would you do that? Why are people like this? Nowadays I don't even bother to ask that question. I'll just be like, block, mute, moving on. I think this is the last one. It's pretty long. I guess hopefully I can try to piece this together. I wrote this like last week, so alright, final one. Prioritizing self-worth over self-sacrifice. Like self-worth or self-value. Okay, self-worth, a feeling that you are a good person who deserves to be treated with respect. Sometimes I don't believe that all the time about me, and I think that's part of my problem, and I gotta, like, you know, whether it be go through therapy or just be more self-aware, or both. Actually, just do both. Just do whatever it takes to get out of that habit. At least for me. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but for me, I need to get out of that habit. Like, I need to know my self-worth. And sometimes, actually most of the time before, I didn't know what my self-worth was, and I kind of harp on my past mistakes, and I don't think I'm deserving of a better situation I am now. Like, I feel like I've done something in the past life to have me in the situation I am in now, and I guess I got everything that I had coming to me. I got to get out of that and like playing the blame game and playing the victim, because I do that a lot. Like, I still struggle with it now, but I'm now aware of it, so now I'm trying to work on it. So self-value as well. Like, self-value is more behavioral than emotional, more about how you act toward what you value, including yourself, than how you feel about yourself compared to others. It's basically kind of piggybacking off of what self-worth is. Self-value is kind of like the actions speak louder than words side of it. So if you know your worth, and you value, and you know your self-worth, and you're aware of your self-worth, put some value on that worth. Basically what you're saying is, okay, you know how much you're worth, you know exactly who you are, you know exactly what you deserve and what you don't deserve, so go out there and get it. That's where the self-value comes in. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how I interpret it. And then self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice is basically, like I said before, being too considerate over other people and putting you in selfless. Basically, you're unselfish to a fault. While self-sacrificing is very noble and praiseworthy, it also comes along with a lot of negative things. Sure, it's noble and praiseworthy, and everybody goes, well, that's just nice how you sacrificed yourself or put yourself before other people. Now, it's not to say that you should never do it. It's just that you gotta you got to take care of yourself first before you put yourself in that position. Self-sacrificing also comes with agony, especially if you're not physically doing well and you're trying to physically do something for somebody else. Distress, it can stress you out. Pain, torture, unselfishness. All these words are synonyms of self-sacrifice. See, some of this stuff is actually good. Unselfishness is good, but it also comes with pain, especially if you're not feeling the best, or emotional pain if you're not equipped to deal with the situation. If you're trying to solve like a problem that it's way above your mental state, and you're trying to do it because you want to be so unselfish, but you know for a fact deep down you're not equipped to deal with it, that can cause some mental and emotional pain for you, because you know you can't deal with this, but you want to be such a good like friend or a good person or a good Samaritan or whatever it is, that you would put yourself in that position even though you know you shouldn't be there in the first place. But the opposite of self-sacrifice is comfort, contentment, happiness, health, joy. All those are positive things, right? See, self-sacrifice is not always a bad thing, but too much of it is. You got to know your limits, basically. Know your self-worth, know your self-value, know when to be self-sacrificing and when to dial it back. But above all else, you have to deal with you first, because you can't really help anybody if you can't help yourself. It don't go together. It just doesn't. At least as far as my life experience, I've done the opposite for most of my life, and it's got nothing but headaches. Headaches and staying up at night and not being able to sleep. I already struggle with going to sleep as it is. I don't need my self-sacrificing ways to help with that. You know? So basically this was the second part of self-love and what do I like about me, and the second part is what I don't like about me, self-reflection. So thank you for listening. I hope you guys got something out of it. Be sure to do your due diligence as well as I will. Take care of yourselves. Know your worth, know your value, know your limits. Know your worth, know your value, know your limits. If anything else, if you take nothing else away from this episode, you should take those three things. Know yourself, know your worth, know yourself, know your worth. That's a Drake line. Know yourself, know your worth. Okay. Know your worth, know your value, know your limits. If nothing else, you didn't take it from this episode, you should at least take that with you. That's gonna do it. They call me MJ. Yeah, I'm introducing myself again, guys. And this is me signing off. And always remember, self-worth, self-value, self-preservation. Let me try that sentence again. Take two. Alright, self-worth, self-value, self-preservation, as well as the brain of thought is always under construction. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next episode. Out.